And I think that Summer Rae couldn't have been paired up with a better diva to bring the best out of her like Paige. I mean, Paige is one of the best technical wrestlers you have when you're talking about a female talent for the Divas division, and if anyone should be called up to Raw and SmackDown anytime soon in the very near future, it is Paige, for the unprecedented amount of success she's been having with Summer Rae and the other incredible females of NXT. WWE certainly know what they're doing with the Divas division. You may not see these talents on Raw and SmackDown every week, but when you do, it is a huge treat, and it is a huge plus for wrestling fans who believe the Divas division is never going to have this curse lifted from them after the releases of talents like Melina Maurice, the Bella Twins from their previous release, Karma, who was a huge loss for WWE, Eve Torres, who quit the WWE after losing the title to Caitlyn in Houston, Texas. Many wrestling fans believe the Divas division has been cursed. I myself at one time thought the Divas division was cursed, and I recently referenced it and referred to it being a curse in a column archive for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. I was wondering how they were going to have this curse lifted, and Summer Rae seems to be the first step in the right direction and the first sign of a reprieve coming for the WWE Divas division, and hopefully this period of reprievefulness will last consistently for the Divas division, because after Summer Rae we'll see another phenomenal talent introduced, another one after that, another one after that, another one after that. Her segment with Chris Jericho on a recent Raw Super Show was incredible. Jericho kind of stalks her after taking up Fandango on the ramp, and it leaves us with the impression that we haven't seen the last of Summer Rae and Fandango pairing up in dance-offs or being involved in a program, and Summer Rae could prove to be the X factor that allows Fandango to gain a little bit of substantial momentum against Chris Jericho for the first time since WrestleMania. To me, Jericho's come back revitalized since losing to Fandango in his WWE debut at WrestleMania, one of the first superstars to debut at WrestleMania in years, and he made quite the impression. Now, Summer Rae wasn't in his corner for WrestleMania, but she's going to be a huge benefactor for Fandango or whoever she benefits in this rivalry. Now, she may just stand on the outside of the ring kind of looking innocent, but don't count Summer Rae out, because we are going to see something huge from her in the next few months of her WWE career. And the fact that she's been called up to Raw and SmackDown sooner than divas like Audrey and Paige says a whole lot for Summer Rae's character. Obviously, she has won over WWE executives, and maybe she's even won over Vince McMahon, kind of like how Kelly did within the first few months of her arrival in the WWE. We didn't immediately see Kelly win the Divas Championship, but she eventually won the Divas title with 4 or 5 years into her WWE career, and I think that's kind of the approach that they're trying to do with Summer Rae. They're just trying to progress Summer Rae's character very quickly and more rapidly than what they did for Kelly, and you have to give WWE executives a tremendous amount of credit for trying to do it. They realize they've lost an incredible amount of talents. They have lost so many former divas and women's champions over the last couple of months. Michelle McCool was another one who I didn't mention here earlier. Look at the incredible amount of talent and experience Michelle McCool brought to the Divas division, again going back to Melina, who had an incredible match at the Royal Rumble in 2009 for the Women's Championship, with Beth Phoenix defeating her for that championship. Mickie James. There are so many incredible females that I could list here for you, an endless list of names that WWE have lost over the years. Mickie James actually just recently released her country album, which has been an incredible success story for her, and we have seen so many divas leave the WWE to embark in a career in reality television like Kelly. So not to say that the divas are not having success outside of the WWE. I just think it's a huge loss for them, and especially for the WWE, because they have left the WWE in a very precarious position. But at least these NXT divas are doing the best they can to promote the Divas division, and they are so socially active. It is unbelievable. Summer Rae is one of the most socially active divas of the current roster for either show, Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. She's always tweeting something, and she is promoting her rivalry with Paige. If you've caught any of these tweets on her Twitter account, it's just incredible seeing how actively she is promoting her feud, and Paige is doing the same thing. So the Divas division are not only promoting the division on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, they're also promoting it on social media. So you have to give Summer Rae and Paige an endless amount of credit for actually trying to redistribute the Divas division in a whole different outlook and light than it was previously over the last number of years. I'm not saying that legend divas like Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler and Trish Stratus, and even divas who recently were released, didn't do an incredible job, because if you look back at matches featuring Maurice and Melina, they were incredible matches, and the people they feuded with were just perfect for their characters, and I think that they're trying to do the same thing with the Divas division. We're just seeing it done a little bit more rapidly, and it can prove to be a little bit of a disadvantage because by doing it so rapidly, these divas still have a little bit of inexperience. They really don't know how to approach a huge rivalry like we're seeing on NXT, or for the Divas title between Caitlyn and AJ. They might need a few more additional years of experience, but again, that's a huge plus why the Bella Twins have been rehired by the WWE. If eventually we see rivalries with the Bella Twins and Caitlyn and AJ, we're going to see the Bella Twins giving the experience to AJ and Caitlyn that they need to get this rivalry over for the Divas Championship. That was one of the biggest pluses and one of the biggest benefactors of rehiring the Bella Twins. The Bella Twins have been there for a number of years, just as long as Kelly and Eve were when they were first introduced to the WWE back in 06 and 07. So with how many years the Bella Twins have been there, the Bella Twins are bringing back with them an incredible amount of experience and a lot of diversity to the Divas division. That's why I've been a huge fan over the past couple of weeks of the Bella Twins being rehired by the WWE, because we can expect big things from them in the coming months, especially with Total Diva premiering on E as part of the new summer lineup for the E Network. For additional information, you can check out such resources as WWE.com, the official website of the E Network, because it's going to be a huge summer for the WWE Divas division, and everyone's going to be tuning in each Sunday on E for the inaugural season of Total Diva, featuring divas like Natalya and the Bella Twins, who are really the focal point of this series. Now, WWE are doing everything they can to promote this series. That's why the Bella Twins are winning consistently on editions of Raw and SmackDown, and other divas are expected to win, like Natalya, to promote this series. The Divas division has a lot going for it, especially with the upcoming premiere of Total Diva, which I believe premieres in July on the E Network. Again, for additional information and as a resource, you can check out WWE.com, who will be avidly promoting this in the time slot every Sunday on the E Network, and the official website of the E Network, which you can Google on any major search engine. It's just so much fun seeing what WWE are doing for the Divas division, and I hope the NXT Divas are also featured on this show, because it will give them the exposure they need outside of NXT, and I hope Summer Rae, Paige kind of make a drop by for that series. Expect the major divas in the WWE to be profiled, not so much for the newer ones, but it's going to be fun if we see them drop by occasionally for this series, with the appearance they have had on NXT especially, and on Raw and SmackDown occasionally. It's only a matter of time before these divas get call-ups, and we're going to see the progression of these rivalries carried over from NXT to editions of Raw and SmackDown, especially this Summer Rae Paige rivalry, which has really been the focal point of NXT. Now, if you can't catch NXT in your area, it is a web show which you can watch either on WWE.com, Hulu, and of course on websites like YouTube as well. If you can't get it in your area, I know certain countries actually air weekly episodes of NXT still on television, which is a huge plus for some countries. So if you can't see NXT, you can go to WWE.com for additional information, and video sharing websites like Hulu and YouTube for weekly archiving of NXT. It is a web show that you should watch because it's an awesome 45 minutes of good wrestling, just as ECW was from 06 to 2010. NXT pretty much distributes the same kind of thing. It's pretty much commercial-free, legitimate wrestling. There is 1 to 2 commercials during the production of NXT, but you get a good 45 minutes of actual wrestling, which is something you don't really get that often on Raw and SmackDown. You get more promos, segments backstage, and advertising with Raw and SmackDown. You get about a half an hour of advertising for a 2-hour program, and the majority of the 2-hour program is actually just promos, backstage vignettes, what people are going to do for the upcoming pay-per-view. Really the purpose of Raw and SmackDown has just become to promote a pay-per-view, like an up-and-coming pay-per-view, no matter if it's a big pay-per-view or a small pay-per-view like Over the Limit or Survivor Series. It's just usually a form to promote a pay-per-view more so than actually give you a good match. Usually once a year we see the WWE Championship. We're lucky we get 2 WWE title matches on Raw and 2 world title matches, let's say, on SmackDown. More so, it's just a form. But NXT has a great format because you actually see good wrestling for 45 minutes. It's guaranteed every Wednesday on WWE.com consistently, and in some countries it's still being televised. So if you can't catch NXT on WWE.com in your area, there are several resources like Hulu and YouTube. And again, for additional information, you go to WWE.com. One thing you may have noticed about my column archives and for cheap shots from Jonathan Clarke is that I'm consistently talking about the all-new NXT primarily for its Divas division and the incredible amount of talent we're seeing and the division's champions that we're seeing as well. Every NXT champion has been very effective. The tag team champions over there have been incredible, and seeing the Divas division progress from week to week has been a phenomenal opportunity for me as a radio show host and columnist who always used to watch Raw and SmackDown to find out what was going to happen next in the Divas division, especially when you had divas like Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson still kicking around. I was hoping one day we were going to see Tori Wilson as the Divas champion, or the Women's champion rather, and we didn't. So that was a huge letdown for me. I held the belief that one day we would see Kelly Kelly as the Divas champion, so that kind of made up for Tori Wilson not ever winning the Women's championship. She only had one opportunity for the Women's championship on edition of Raw when she was a heel against Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus pretty much won over against Tori Wilson. So seeing Kelly Kelly winning the Divas Championship after years of hoping Tori Wilson was going to get one reign as the Women's Champion was kind of a reprieve for me. We saw Kelly Kelly be the Women's Champion from July of 2011 up until October of 2011. Within the first week of October, she lost the championship, and that would be the final time we would ever see Kelly Kelly as the Divas Champion before being released. She will return on August 6, 2012, have her final match against Eve, go out as a winner, and now she's getting a career for herself with reality television. And now the Divas division in the WWE in its entirety are getting careers for themselves with reality television, with the premiere of Total Diva, which is going to be receiving great reviews. We are going to have critics for Total Diva. Not everyone is going to be talking about this show very positively like some people are within the first few weeks, but just wait until you see the conversation piling in on social media. I think we're going to get more positive reviews than we will have a negative side portrayed for Total Diva, because I think this show is going to have a prominent future, and the inaugural season will definitely go a long way in determining if we see additional seasons created of Total Diva, and as the seasons premiere, hopefully more divas who weren't portrayed